I'm making an old school Italian Easter dessert. The nickname for this is called pina, and this is going to be made with ricotta and pineapple and rice. It's a pizza gaina type of a dessert. This recipe was passed along to me by my Aunt Gloria, who got it from her aunt.
You'll want to start out by cooking 1 cup of dry rice. I used arborio rice, but you could use any kind. Bring it to a boil, cover it, and turn it on low. I'm making pasta frola. That's an Italian-style pie crust, and you'll see that in ricotta pies. You're going to start out with 2 cups of flour and 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. This is what makes your dough rise a little bit, and a pinch of salt. I want to pulse all of the dry ingredients. Now I'm going to cut up 1 stick of butter, that's 8 tablespoons, into small pieces. Pulse that now, and if you're making this by hand, you can do all of the same technique in a bowl. I now have 1 egg and 1 egg yolk, and I want to mix that up before I pour that into my food processor. And here are a couple of teaspoons of milk. I've used 2%, and here's also a teaspoon of vanilla. I ended up adding more milk, and you'll know your dough is done when you can hold a piece in your hand. So now I'm going to get my dough out on a floured board and push it together. Wrap your dough in saran wrap and refrigerate for at least an hour. My rice is done, and you can see that it's dry on the bottom, and I'm putting that aside. Now I'm going to zest about 1 teaspoon of an orange and 1 teaspoon of a lemon and put that aside. In a medium bowl, crack 4 large eggs, and you're going to want to whisk them first. And now I have 20 ounces of crushed pineapple that I'm draining. You want to get all of that juice out of there and just save the juice for drinking. You can even push this down to make it a little bit drier. Now I'm adding my zest to my eggs and 1 pound of whole milk ricotta cheese. Blend well and then add 1 cup of granulated sugar. And now a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. This makes this so good. Whisk everything really well, and it's time to add your 2 cups of your dried, cooled rice. I didn't rinse my rice. I wanted that little bit of stickiness in it, and so you'll have to just make sure that you stir it in really well and blend it. Particularly if you use arborio rice, it's very sticky. So once you're all set with your filling and it's blended well, we're going to add some light cream. And here is 1/4 cup, and get that blended in really well. I'm buttering a 9-inch pie plate. You need a large one. You could also use a springform pan. So here's the dough nice and chilled, and I've taken 1/3 of it off for the top. That will be for the lattice work. I really like to make sure I have a lot of flour on my board, and I work with parchment paper when I'm doing a pasta frola crust because it's very damp. So just hold your pie plate over it to make sure you've got the right circumference. And you'll want to flip it over and get more flour on it. This makes it easier to add onto your rolling pin so that you can then transfer it to your pie plate or your cake pan. So it's very forgiving, and if you don't do it the right way, I was a little overshot there, you can definitely work pieces into it. It has a lot of flexibility. So I'm going to use a crimper, and it's going to make the crust really pretty when I do the lattice work. Fill your pie crust, and I did have a little bit left over. There's really a lot of it here, and just maybe 2 tablespoons were left. Place your pie in a large cookie sheet. It will make it so much easier to get it in and out of the oven. Now I'm cutting about a 1-inch strip, and I'm sorry I didn't get to record how I put these on, but if you go to my ricotta pie video, you'll see how to work the lattice work. So here it is all done, and it wasn't complicated at all. I painted the lattice strips with beaten egg and put some sugar on top, and now it goes into the oven. I baked the pie for 1 hour, and then I did let it sit out for a while before I put it in the fridge. Now the first piece is always hard to cut, but this didn't come out too bad.
And now it's time to taste. I did let this sit overnight in the refrigerator because it really is very dense and it's very moist. So I didn't want to cut it right away. So make your Italian Easter pineapple ricotta pie ahead of time, the day before at least. So here goes. This is so good. You get that pineapple and that ricotta pie flavor, only there's even more depth to it with that touch of cinnamon. This is a real winner, and I think you'll really love making it for your Easter dessert table, or really just about any time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would really love it, and give this a like because I'd really love that too.